There can be no progress in Nigeria's anti-graft campaign if there are no appropriate sanctions against those who engage in corrupt practices. That's the view of participants at the third Nigerian Governors Forum retreat, which was hosted by Lagos State in Nigeria's southwest region. A professor of international law, Akin Oyebode, says corruption thrives owing to absence of appropriate penalties, while former ICPC chairman Justice Mustapha Akombe believes that it takes a collective effort by all Nigerians to tackle the scourge. Our correspondent Charles Eruka now reports.
Better educated, and
there's been so much talk about fighting corruption in Nigeria, but the most interesting perspectives may have come from those who have walked the talk. Two of the country's most renowned anti-graft chiefs, the ex-chairman of ICPC and the EFCC, had tussled with the monster for years.
But if you make a thorough study, probably you are also going to get the richest professor, the richest unionist, the richest pastor, the richest imam. You will get it in Nigeria. So, this is all about corruption. When we talk about it, sometimes it tends to be lost in translation, like what one film said. It's about the money, and it is not why it should be. It is ending up in wrong hands.
Voting for corrupt people will not help Nigeria. Finally, the people themselves must at all times be part of the struggle to fight corruption. I say this because even in Hong Kong, it was the people who fought the police for corruption. They marched against them. The police reacted. And the final analysis today, Hong Kong is a less corrupt country than Nigeria is.
Perhaps it's the host governor, Babatunde Fashola, who raises a very fundamental question of lifestyles that typically celebrate corruption.
It's a question now of values. A society where people spray money and step on money. And I think that's a mindset that raises questions. It's not just, this is all you work for. So if you can step on your own sweat, something is wrong. Fundamentally flawed, that we must all re-examine how did we get to this kind of pass. So, and when you look at that society where people's status and social living is incompatible with their known sources of income, and all seems to be well.
The eminent professor of international law, Akin Oyebode, concludes that corruption thrives simply because people are getting away with it.
What we have lacked, in my view, is the sense of punishment. And what has thrived, as I'm going to say later, is this notion of impunity. What can I get away with? How much can I get away with? So it's not corruption that is as much the problem as the failure of society to punish those who have been found corrupt.
The symptoms, the diagnosis, and the remedies for this moral epidemic are clearly spelled out. But there still remains the question of the delicate surgery required to rid Nigeria of the scourge of corruption.
Personalities on stage.
Charles Eruka for Channels Television News.